Hi, my name is Irma Lopez, and I see few familiar faces here. Uh, I'm from class 12 generation, and I will start with the scripture from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 18 and 19, where it quotes God, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. So shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." There are no words to express my gratefulness to God and to all of you who listen to the call of the Lord to help in this ministry. My heart is full of joy to know that still there are people that care. I am living a life I've never dreamed of. I had many dreams, but nothing compared to all life has offered me. In the present, I am living a real life dream, before inaccessible, but now made possible through the compassion and the support from many of you. A new life through the grace of God and the help of Christian Women's Job Corps, the organization that opened doors, in my case, not only in the physical state, but beyond that. Circumstances throughout my life caused me to be very distant to the world. To me, it was just to my family to live for, where nothing else mattered. When I came to Christian Women's Job Corps, I was living in a state of denial. My life was a major turmoil that I unconsciously had decided to lock away where it would not harm me. But there was always something that triggered back those feelings of impotence, and there I was again, in despair with no one to talk about what was going on. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was very happy. I wanted to have a baby. I wanted something mine that belonged to me, and no one could take away. But at the end of the 5th month, I went for an ultrasound and everything looked fine. The baby was growing normal, the heartbeat sounded normal. On that day, I couldn't find a ride back home from the clinic, so I decided to walk. That night, my baby was born prematurely. After all this, I began to blame myself for walking. I blamed poverty because maybe if I had insurance, they would have treated the issue differently. But most of all, I blame God because He did nothing about it. I prayed with all my heart for a miracle, and He did not respond. I began to build a huge resentment against God. I began to doubt that He even existed. So with that, I became pregnant a second time. This time, my baby died while still inside me. I couldn't recover from those losses on my own. I thought that if I had a baby, I would get over. So I became pregnant again. This time I was being very careful. I didn't want to go through the same agony. But this time I was going to have twins. After a long stay in the hospital and a lot of care at home, my babies didn't make it. At that point, I was just in complete despair. I didn't go crazy because there really is a God in heaven. But in the meantime, I was just full of resentment against Him. Thank you.
I asked him why. Why would he allow so much pain? Until finally, one day, he showed his mercy on me and he allowed me a child. It was the longest 9 months of my life I've consciously lived. The constant fear of the ifs was overwhelming. When this child was born, he became the center of my world. I dedicated my life to him. My child brought much needed happiness to my life. Years went by, bringing more of the same disappointments until I gave up. That's when God gave in. That's when I came to Christian Mama Job Corps. Interested in the job skills course. They offer many courses, but I was only interested in the computer class. After I learned that there was going to be a Bible study course, I decided that for the computer class, it was worth to stay and do Bible study. I was not interested in learning of God's twisted ways. Ironically, the class I took for granted was the class that helped me the most. Together with self-discovery, made a complete turnaround in me. I discovered that the girl circumstances and I put down long time ago was pretty much still alive within me. Her dreams had not died down. On the contrary, were very much alive. She was eager to get out and fulfill those dreams, and in my power was the decision to let her out or continue to keep her covered and continue with my life to the prediction of others. Assured of God's love and motivation of these lovely ladies, I decided to move on with the real me, the one I didn't like because she was sensible, she was weak, fearful, and very naive. The one anybody could take advantage of and would not complain. And not the strong, unbreakable me I had portrayed. She was not me. It was just a mask to protect me from getting hurt again. To my surprise, the one I hid had really changed. She was intelligent, dedicated, and very determined. The pain and suffering, products of ignorance and poverty, had made her very strong. And that's who I am. Now I live according to my values and beliefs, and not to society's stereotypes. I believe that every human has a purpose on earth: the sick, the oppressed, and the most insignificant has a purpose from God. These babies, through their short lives, though their short lives were very short all these years, they triggered a series of misfortunes that later were going to turn into my strengths. I honestly believe they came to fulfill God's purpose for them on this earth. I learned to be strong, and that sometimes uncontrollable things happen to make our character more like Jesus. I am very glad I took this course, and I hope that this program continues to bring hope to many future generations. The compassion shown to us, people with special needs, is what makes differences in people's lives. Thank you.